Please welcome our Salutatorian, Ambriehl Brianna McCoy, followed by our Valedictorian, Alexis Celine Weaver.
I would like to welcome our friends and family again and thank them for joining us in our celebrations. Fellow classmates, today marks an important time in all of our lives. Today marks the day that we will each embark on our own journeys, whether that means attending DCU, DeCrib University, taking a year or two off, attending a four-year college, or attending a community college. It also marks the beginning of an end, the end of 2 years together. For us, high school has been something so much more. We lived together, ate together, went to school together. We basically spent every waking moment together. We probably all have had bonds at our previous high schools, but we were granted the opportunity to grow exceptionally close to our classmates in the last 2 years. The time spent at MSA will be something I cherish forever. Over the weekend, I found my yearbook from last year, and it reminded me of how excited and eager I was to come to MSA. We were going to a school specifically designed for us, the art kids. And there we would get to cultivate our skills to do what we love. But going to MSA has done something so much more than that. Regardless of whether any of us goes on to pursue the arts, we have been prepared to face the challenges of the world. We have all learned to spend our free time wisely, or to suffer the consequences, or simply how to live with other people. We now know what it is like to take the seedlings of opportunity and watch them sprout. After a while, I held this year's and last year's yearbook side by side, and my gosh, how we have all changed. Many of us have changed our hair, our clothes, gotten piercings and tattoos, etc. But we have each changed and grown into people ready for the future. I was lucky enough to meet each of you, whether we know each other personally or not. Watching each of you these last 2 years has been such a humbling, exciting, and sincere opportunity. You have each made an impact in my life one way or another. From junior to senior year, I have read how the literaries learn to personify their stories. I have watched how the theaters have made each character come to life. I have seen how each senior dancer has made it onto point. I have studied how the visuals have graced us with each minute detail of their artwork, and I have heard how many of my fellow vocals have begun to grow into their voices. We will all take away something from MSA that will better us for the future. That said, I want to thank each of you for making these last 2 years so amazing. Being able to see each of you make your way forward into spectacular individuals has been a part of this unforgettable journey and time in my life. I was blessed with the opportunity to watch many of us become leaders in our own little way. So now I am left with a bittersweet nostalgia. I know that we are all ready to embrace whatever the future holds, but I will miss the moments that we spent together. I will miss seeing everyone herd out of JI at the end of the day, or going to showcases and performances, or even being surprised when certain individuals left their rooms. I will miss the daily in and outs of our schedules, or even the realization that there would never be a time when all of my fellow classmates would be free. Although our time together is coming to an end, that does not mean the memories we have made together ever will. Again, I want to thank each of you for coming to MSA and gracing me with the chance to meet each of you. I will never forget, and I will forever be grateful. Thank you, class of 2017.
Hello. I'd like to thank the SLC and academic staff, as well as the families and students for being able to make it to this commencement ceremony. I also want to recognize our honored guests and all of the family members who weren't able to be here for whatever circumstances. Last year, the Espinos took me to their son's graduation, and the valedictorian speech was about doors. Since I'm here, and since this is it, I want to talk about the completion of 2,340 school days and sand. The time frame needed for sand to be created varies. It depends on what kind and how large a rock is, as well as what elements are acting against it. The end result is silt that sticks to skin and gets caught in folds of fabric. It's this thing that was once something bigger but has been reduced to granules that slip between fingers. The same can be said for these 2,340 school days. If we take those days and condense it into one block of time, it's a little under 6.5 years. We don't remember all of that. What we do remember is like that sand in the floorboard of the car. All of it doesn't leave even after it's been vacuumed. Since coming to MSA, I've been surrounded by so many memorable people, and together we've created instances that will serve as a recollection or comparison for something else. MSA lasts 360 days, plus some weekends, and it's given us all some firsts. It was the first time moving away or having roommates, first time cooking with Connie, or watching The Secret Life of Walter Mitty and appreciating the Hamilton soundtrack. First and last time graduating high school. I'm confident enough to say that my adopted family encompasses the entire state of Mississippi, and that we're branching out from coast to coast, Washington all the way to Rhode Island. I'm also confident enough in this class's ability to not stand here and give a pep talk. This is a verbal reminder that we are artists that are stubborn and desensitized to the idea that we won't make it just because we're not practical. Junior and senior year at this school has given us the assurance that we love what we do enough, and that's all we need. So to whatever steps my classmates take after this, I know they're ready. We will persevere, and every individual will stay with me. We are pieces of broken down rock and teachings that are hundreds of years old. We are the mold of whatever shape we choose and the water to make it stick. And if that form collapses, something else will take its place. We are what is washed away and also what is deposited. This is the face of determination and also the end of a speech and 2,340 school days.
Now we have the opportunity to hear from a guest speaker. Kiese Laymon is a Southern writer born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. He attended Millsaps College and Jackson State University before graduating from Oberlin College. He earned an MFA in fiction from Indiana University. Laymon is the author of the novel Long Division and a collection of essays of how to slowly kill yourself and others in America. The UK edition released in 2016. Laymon has written essays, stories, and reviews for numerous publications, including Esquire, ESPN, The Magazine, Color Lines, NPR, Lit Hub, the Los Angeles Times, The Guardian, Penn Journal, Oxford American, The Best American Series, Ebony, and Guernica. Long Division was named one of the best of 2013 by BuzzFeed, The Believer, Salon, Guernica, Contemporary Literature, Mosaic Magazine, Library Journal, Chicago Tribune, and the Crunk Feminist Collective. It was also shortlisted for the Believer Book Award, the Ernest Gaines Award, and the Morning News Tournament of Books. Long Division won the 2014 Soroyan International Writing Award on November the 10th. 3 essays in How to Slowly Kill Yourself and Others in America have been included in the Best American Series, the Best of Net Award, the Atlantic's Best Essays of 2013. He was selected a member of the Root 100 in 2013 and 2014, and Ebony Magazine Power 100 in 2015. Kiese Laymon has 2 books forthcoming, so go out there and buy them, including a memoir called Heavy and a novel called And So On, which can be expected this year, both from Scribner. Mr. Laymon has been a professor of English and African American Studies at the University of Mississippi. He's taught at Millsaps and at Vassar. Please help me welcome our 2017 commencement speaker, Mr. Kiese Laymon.
How y'all doing? I'm so happy to be here. They didn't have these art schools when I graduated in 92. I'm supposed to say that real. And if they did, I don't know if I would have gotten in, but I would have tried to get in. And before I keep going, I also want to say, when I got here, I tried to put this hat on. But I have an immensely large head. I just do. It's one of the things I got from my mama. And I started to think when I was preparing my remarks for tonight, I thought about one of the reasons I didn't go to my 1992 graduation. And the first thing I tried to tell my mama was they weren't going to have a cap to fit my head. And then she was like, boy, you better go to that graduation. And then I righteously said, I don't want to go to the graduation because Kirk Fordyce was speaking. Kirk Fordyce was the governor at the time. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you all about today. Thank y'all so much for having me. I didn't go to my own high school graduation 20 years ago from St. Joseph High School in Jackson. I told my mama that I decided against not going because Kirk Fordyce, our reactionary governor, was speaking. That was partially true. The whole truth was that I felt a trunk load of shame for graduating 5 places from the bottom of my class when I easily could have graduated in the top 10 if I would have applied myself. I won a few awards for writing in high school and did well enough on the ACT to get into Millsaps, but my GPA was shameful. Shameful. Full of shame. So shameful. I don't have much shame now as a professional teacher, writer, professor, but I can't even tell y'all what that GPA was. And I'm hoping nobody down there has that GPA, but it was shameful. I'll just let y'all know that. I didn't want to sit in my academic failure for graduating in the bottom 5, so I lied to mask the failure and make myself seem righteous. All my friends and family patted me on the back for not going to graduation, but my mama refused to. She knew. I'm not here today to give you any dynamic advice. I'm not sure you need it, but I am here to beg you to love your family, love yourself, and love this state by making honest, compassionate decisions in every part of your life, especially when you fail. Whether we're talking about the current president of our country, our current governor, or me, I'm not sure that the grown folks who you all are supposed to look up to have given you a healthy model of honesty and compassion. Grown folks, and I think particularly grown men, are really good at justifying horrible, dishonest decisions. We're really good at bragging about how we don't regret anything. And I'm here today to tell you that human beings who aren't good at honesty or compassion are not good at being human. And those are not the kind of human beings I think you want to emulate. When I was 11 years old, my mama used some money she won at a casino to buy me an extra tennis racket. We were volleying when this explosive sound of a single M80 shook both of us. We looked toward the school and saw a squat, pot-bellied woman in a Saints starter jacket on one knee. She was wiping blood from her nose while a tall, slender man in a thick red and black lumberjack loomed over her. "Put your hands down," I heard the man say. "Put your hands down." The woman in the starter jacket slowly dropped her hands, and the man hit her in the face with what sounded like a damp, closed fist. She fell to the ground and covered her face again. Without saying a word, we cocked our rackets and sprinted toward the couple. "You better not hit her again," my mama said. "You better not hit her again." When the man saw us coming, he dragged the woman off through what was a dirt path. I remember looking down at the smudged, bloody footprint on the sidewalk. On the other side of the building, the man and the woman in the starter jacket whose face he had exploded got in a raggedy black Mazda and sped off. We did not call the police. We did not run back to our Nova to try to follow them. We caught our breath and we prayed, like Grandmama taught us. I had no idea that we were praying for that day. I assumed we were praying for the safety of the woman in the starter jacket. Maybe we were praying for our own forgiveness. I knew that we would have tried to kill that man if we could have found him. Mama just knelt there on her knees. I kept asking her why she was crying and she wouldn't say. There were hundreds of scenes flashing through Mama's eyes that she didn't want to share with me that day. I begged her to tell me. "I can't, Key," she said. "I can't." I realized that day that I was of my mama. I was her child. Mama and I had the same thick thighs, the same short arms, the same full cheeks, the same mushy insides, and the same minced imagination. We were excellent at laughing until we weren't, excellent at working until our bodies gave out, and most excellent at allowing shame to mangle our relationships to honesty. Our heart meat was thick, but once punctured, we ran our hearts in the fire and waltzed those hearts in the war, whether we had an escape plan or not. No matter how terrified we were, we never asked anyone for help. We just resented everyone who watched us suffer. As a child, I remember crying myself to sleep, imagining a life where we weren't together. I remember believing all my mama's lies were mistakes and forgetting those mistakes when we went to sleep, often tucked into each other. Every time she said that my particular kind of hard-headedness and white Mississippians' particular kind of penchant for black suffering were recipes for an early death or incarceration in Mississippi, I believed her. I was confused, though, about the way she grit her teeth when she hit me as hard as she could. Days and sometimes hours later, she touched me gently, warmly. She told me she loved me. She called me her best friend. She made me feel like the most beautiful boy in Mississippi. I didn't try to hurt you, my mama said the last time we spoke. I don't remember hurting you as much as you remember it, Key. I'm not saying I didn't. I'm just saying that I don't remember everything the way you do. I still believe my mama. Mama and I had never been a family of cabinets filled with Band-Aids, nor a family of consistent bill money, a family of pantries, full fridges or washers and dryers. We'd always been a strange black Southern family of books. The presence of all those books and Mama's insistence that I read and write in those books made it so that I would never be easily intimidated by white space, by words, by punctuation, by sentences, by paragraphs, by chapters. Mama gave me a black Southern space from which to work with literature, and in that black Southern space, I learned to expect more from the page than I was given. Mama taught me how to revise and reread. Mama modeled a rugged love of black children. She taught me that our liberation has its bedrock in compassion and direct action, not politeness. Mama gave me what we call home training. I now know that revision, rereading, compassion, and home training are the greatest gifts a parent can share with a child in this nation. Those gifts are why I'm here 20 years later talking to you today. Those gifts are also why 20 years ago I should have walked across that stage for my mama. No matter how I performed academically in high school, I should have given her the opportunity to see her only son graduate. I eventually got kicked out of Millsaps College, and I graduated from a school in Ohio called Oberlin College before going on to graduate school at Indiana University. When I graduated from Oberlin, I invited my mama to come up and watch me walk across that stage. When I got off that stage, I looked into my mama's eyes and I traced a new slump that I'd never seen in my mama's body. I saw that she needed a graduation ceremony for herself just as much or more than I needed a graduation ceremony at all. I understood then that 4 years is 4 years. A lot can happen in 4 years. A lot has happened to you graduates in 4 years. A lot more has probably happened to your family these last 4 years. This speech today is written to the graduates, but it's also written to the mamas and the fathers and the cousins and the uncles and the grandparents and the friends, the guardians and the teachers in the audience who have, under death-drenched circumstance, done a magnificent job of staying alive these past 4 years, but who have possibly done a terrifying job of honestly reckoning with failure. I'm here to tell you, graduates, that your family needs your support after this ceremony. This is your day, but it is also your day to find new ways to love the people who made this journey possible. Lucille Clifton has this poem in a book I stole from my mama called Why Some People Be Mad at Me Sometimes. The poem says, "They ask me to remember, but they want me to remember their memories, and I keep on remembering mine." When I think of my relationship with Mama, I think of this poem not because I feel Mama asked me to remember her memories, but because I think my Mama feels often that I'm trying to punish her for honestly remembering mine. I know what it's like to punish vulnerable people for holding on to memories I wish they'd forget. I'm just telling you today at this graduation ceremony that one way we might help each other is if we try to share our sad words, our funny words, our whole stories, our half relationships, our empty mysteries, and our full memories that we don't want to be true. Nothing in America encourages this kind of honest reckoning or liberating transformation. So we have the interior lives that we have. We have the president that we currently have, and we have the governor that we currently have. But we do not have to be this way. My hope is that you are at once not too heavy and just heavy enough to keep us from drowning and calling that drowning flying. I know we deserve a different kind of free, and I'm terrified of the long reach of my generation's lies. I'm a Black Southern professor from Jackson, Mississippi, and I am here begging you to dare everything you can to change yourself, change your family, change our state, and change our nation. One paragraph, one note, one relationship, one stroke, one protest, and most importantly, one honest memory at a time. But please, please start with yourself and start with your family, and please start today. Please let honesty and compassion and curiosity guide you today in your relationships after this ceremony. Welcome your failures, welcome your family's failures, and please don't lie about your failures. Give yourself a chance to get better. Our generation has not given you a healthy model of honest reckoning, and in that way, we have failed you. But I know we can be honest. I know we can be compassionate. I know we can be regretful. And I know a lot of it has to do with the art you create in the next few decades of your life. We can confront abuses of power that target the most vulnerable people and groups in this state and this nation. And that is what you as artists can be known for, and that is what Mississippi can be known for. My generation just needs you to remind us how it's all done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Laymon. I say all the time that these students, every year, they never disappoint. They really don't. And, they give me hope for what our world is going to be like in 20 years. And hopefully I'll get to retire because they're going to be really amazing citizens. You're amazing. And it's been a wonderful 2 years with you. Today, this is 13 years of MSA's graduations, and we are so proud to have our school represented by this distinguished group of graduates. Each year, I hear words spoken by our students about what their experience at MSA has been for them, and the ups and downs always end with a nostalgic look back on their growth, not only as artists, but as individuals. It's become my little tradition in these remarks to recognize the powerful words of our students. And when I think back on the last 2 years with all of you, rather than an exact phrase that's been spoken, I've been moved by the message that was portrayed in the writing and art and performances and conversations. Your creativity, the way you express the human condition through a lens that challenges all of us in a powerful way. You expressed it through teaching us how to treat others with respect and care, how to love each other, how to learn from our mistakes and hold each other accountable, to work together to create an extraordinary world. Above all, you've demanded that we do better, and I appreciate that very much. I've heard from so many of you over the last 2 years how you've learned from your lives, your situations, and each other. You've taught something to all of us about yourselves, but also about how you see the world. You taught many of us how to be better people. Last year, Ashley Lang wrote an article about MSA for the hometown Brookhaven magazine, and her article was called Leaving Home for Home. She said, at MSA, we grow into artists that will be the change for our generation and the future. Once I graduate, I'll look back on my life and miss this. MSA has enriched my life, and because of this school, I know I'm ready for the world and all the opportunities that it has for me. And I think those words are still true for all of you. And I thank Ashley for allowing me to share her words for everyone to hear. It's my hope that all of you will feel the same, and that we are all, I think all of the staff would agree that we are better for having you with us. As you all walk out into the world today and make choices for your life, just know that it's important that MSA will continue to watch you grow up on your own and hope that what you've learned here will serve you well. Continuing our tradition of excellence, 100% of our seniors are graduating this year. Yes. Today, 92% of this graduating class has a GPA of a 3.0 or better. And as of today, and if you still have more, you better tell us, our scholarship offers to this class of 55 students is $10,143,635. So our annual allocation for the school is $2.3 million, so we are definitely making it worth, right? We're getting, the state's getting their money's worth. So before we get to why you're all here, I wish to share the words of Gandhi, which are to be the change you wish to see in the world. I'm very proud of each of you for the growth that I've witnessed, and I hope that you'll keep imagining a better world in which we live and work. Remember to leave everywhere you go better than the way you found it. So seniors, will you please rise? I'd like to ask Ms. Debra Price, our principal, to come forward to confer your graduation status.
Mrs. Hirsch, distinguished guests, parents, and the Mississippi School of the Arts faculty and I certify that the students of the class of 2017 have fulfilled the requirements for high school graduation set forth by the State Board of Education. At this time, on behalf of the State Board of Education and the State Superintendent, I hereby declare that these students are graduates of the Mississippi School of the Arts and are entitled to all the rights and privileges thereof.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the class of 2017.